Hello everyone, welcome back to Remind, knowledge sharing channel self-development through good books. This week, I want to share with you an incredibly valuable book.
A great thinker once said that if you take a scalpel to words and dissect them, they bleed. Language is invisible, intangible, yet it is alive. Some words fall on the heart like warm spring wind and give a person wings. Other words cut like silent knives and leave wounds that never fully heal. What we say can shape entire families, marriages, friendships, and destinies. It can become gunpowder that explodes relationships and leaves only scorched earth, or it can be the soft moonlight breeze that makes every heart feel safe and light. Most of us are absolutely certain we are not violent people. We obey the law. We have never raised a fist. Yet the book I want to share with you today, Nonviolent Communication, A Language of Life by Dr. Marshall Rosenberg, quietly reveals a painful truth. We live in a world saturated with verbal violence. We don't call it violence. We call it being honest, disciplining the kids, venting, or just joking. But these words still wound ourselves and the people we love most. They create negative emotions, destroy harmony, and slowly teach us that we are not worthy of love exactly as we are. Today, I want to walk you through one of the most beloved and transformative books on communication ever written. After more than 50 years traveling the planet, from war zones to corporate boardrooms, from prisons to kindergarten classrooms, clinical psychologist Dr. Marshall Rosenberg distilled everything he learned into this single, gentle, revolutionary classic. It has been translated into more than 35 languages and is considered a modern cornerstone of psychology and peacemaking. Let's dive in. Part 1. How we use language to cast shadows over love. Think about this. When a mother scolds and shames her child, does she really love that child any less? When spouses accuse, blame, or even curse each other, have they truly stopped loving one another? Here is the painful paradox Marshall discovered. The closer we are to someone, the more we care, the easier it becomes to hurt them with our words. Why? Because deep love breeds high expectations. The higher the expectations, the more we ignore the other person's actual needs and the more carelessly we speak. And when we speak carelessly, the very love we feel becomes impossible for the other person to feel. Marshall identified 4 patterns that turn everyday communication into violence, even when we swear we are only trying to help. 1.1. Moralistic judgment. We measure everyone against our own internal yardstick of right and wrong. If someone acts outside our rules, we label them lazy, selfish, immoral, evil. That teacher is cruel for giving so much homework. That driver has no eyes. My boss is exploiting me. These snap judgments are everywhere because the moment something goes wrong, our instinct is to look for who is wrong instead of what need is unmet. Criticism, blame, insults, and labels are all forms of life-alienating communication. They make the other person the enemy and completely ignore the universal human feelings and needs underneath every action. This, says Marshall, is the root of violence. 1.2. Comparison. Look at how hard other kids study. We pay the same tuition. Look at you. Comparison is one of the most common and most devastating forms of verbal violence, especially between parents and children. A generation ago, parents compared their kids. Today, kids compare their parents on social media. We live in a culture addicted to comparison, and Marshall quotes a line I will never forget. If you want to guarantee yourself a life of suffering, compare yourself to others. 1.3. Denial of responsibility. We use language to escape responsibility. I had to do it. I have no choice. Traffic made me late. The test was too hard. History is full of horrors justified by, I was only following orders. Everyday life is full of horrors justified by "I had to." Complaining is an especially tragic form of this. Marshall tells the story of a woman at one of his workshops who burst out, "I hate cooking. Why have I been forced to cook for 20 years?" Marshall replied with pure empathy, "It sounds like you've been doing something you really don't want to do for 2 decades. I'm so sorry." Feeling truly heard for the first time, she stopped cooking. 3 weeks later, her teenage son showed up at the next workshop, overjoyed. Thank God, finally no more listening to complaining at every meal. The absence of dinner hurt far less than the presence of daily resentment. Complaining is violence disguised as exhaustion. The antidote? Change "I have to" into "I choose to." When a mother cooks thinking, "I choose to do this because I love my family," joy replaces resentment, and the same act becomes an expression of love instead of a silent attack. 1.4. Coercion and guilt tripping. A mother sighs, "Your grades are so low this semester. I'm so sad." It sounds tender, almost vulnerable, but it is still violence. She is not sad because of the grades. She is sad because her child did not meet her expectation. By saying, "I'm sad," she places the full weight of her emotion on the child's shoulders. The child may study harder for a while, out of guilt, but will no longer study out of inner motivation or joy. We do the same in romantic relationships. "If you really loved me, you would." These are demands wearing the mask of love. If we never examine our speech, we will keep spreading verbal violence, accidentally or on purpose, and we will keep eclipsing the very love we long to give and receive. Part 2. What nonviolent communication actually is, and how 4 simple steps can transform your entire life. Nonviolent communication, bundling NVC, rests on 4 gentle, powerful components. Master them, and you master relationships, with others and with yourself. 1. Observation without evaluation. Speak pure facts, free of judgment. Instead of "You're irresponsible," say, "I see 4 late arrivals on your timesheet this month." Pure observation is incredibly rare and incredibly disarming. As Krishnamurti said, observing without evaluating is the highest form of human intelligence. 2. Feelings, own them fully. Name what you actually feel in your body, not what you think about the other person. "I feel something, scared, lonely." 3. Needs, the universal human needs behind every feeling. Every feeling points to a need that is met or unmet. "I feel disappointed that you didn't come to." Requests, not demands. Clear, concrete, positive action language, spoken without attachment to the answer. Would you be willing to? Part 3. Are you actually listening or just waiting for your turn to speak? A little boy once walked into a temple and asked a wise elder, "Why does the..." Part 4. The gifts that keep coming long after you close the book. When you practice nonviolent communication, 4 miraculous things begin to happen.